Hey, what's up? Welcome to the very first broadcast of TC the G Radio. I'm your host, your girl, TC the G, broadcasting directly from Tijuana, Baja California. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to have a great time. The topic of conversation for this broadcast is motherhood. So, this topic was inspired by Mother's Day, which just passed a couple of days ago. Today is the 12th. So in Mexico, Mother's Day is celebrated the 10th of May. And in the US, it's celebrated the second week of May, which this year was the day 9 of May. So motherhood, as you know, or if you didn't know, I have a son. He's 13 years old. I had him at about 17, about to turn 18. So the thing that I enjoy the most about motherhood is that it keeps me accountable. And although accountability is something we have to want to do for ourselves, for me, I really want to be a good person and be of benefit to society. So I take my mother job really serious. I make a lot of decisions, if not all my decisions, based on what's best for my child. Of course, I'm not perfect, and I have had times when I have lost track of this vision, but I come back to what is really important in my life. And it has taken time and mistakes, but I have reached a point where I have learned the hard way and really don't want to live in a way that is not beneficial to my son or myself. Being a parent is a hands on thing, and we really have to be there for our kids. We have to be there to correct them when they're wrong. At times, these things can get messy. I believe we're not perfect, of course. No one's perfect. Uh, to strive for perfection is it's a noble cause, I believe, and it's a good thing, right? Because it gives us something to shoot for. But we do have to be realistic and keep our feet on the ground about real about what's real. And at the end of the day, I do myself take my job, as I mentioned, for parenting very serious. I want to make sure that I'm doing my best in my life so that, my son can emulate that, right? They copy what they see, right? They copy what they see. So it's very important for parents to really understand that and the job that we have as parents to our kids. Because, like I said, sometimes it gets hard to make the right decisions and to discipline our kids, right? To discipline them and sometimes I've noticed a lot of parents nowadays that they have a hard time telling their kids no, and I know that's not just nowadays. I think parenting has had the same form forever because at the end of the day we're human. So we have always had the same kind of experiences, maybe with different technology, but the human experiences are, we can only have so many, right? I mean, the body there's limits to the body. It's not something that can forever be, experienced. We feel cold, we feel hot, you know, very limited things that we feel. So these experiences we're all going to experience because we're all human. If we were a cat, then we probably would not experience the same things a human does. But humans experience human things. And I think we do need to understand that this parenting issue, and a lot of the kids, they need the guidance, of course they're kids, they need the guidance. That's what they're kids for, and that's what the adults are here for, to guide them and to protect them and to show them the the way that in a way that helps life instead of destroying it, nurtures life. So actions that help humanity, that help nature, that help the earth. This would be the guidance that we need to give the kids. And it does take courage to do that, to want to teach kids the right thing. Sometimes we feel we don't even know what we're doing, but I think we all know what's right and what's wrong. If it causes pain to others, if it's disrespectful, all the basic things, respect and ethics, that's pretty much it, right? We need to have value as humans and give and offer, have something to offer to the generations to come. We cannot just ignore the fact that we are here as an example for the kids. It's just the reality of things. They look up to adults. And the discipline thing, I have noticed that us as parents, sometimes we have a hard time saying no, and we feel guilty about it. But, it's not our job to be their friend, right? Because that just spoils them in a way that your friends cheer you on sometimes, even when you're doing the wrong thing, right? And parents, we're supposed to let them know what's the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. And people, I think too, have become so sensitive to the right and wrong, like, oh, but that's your right. No, that's my right. But at the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. People that want to get away with things, these are the kind of responses we get from them. Like, oh, I'm free to do whatever I want because, do you, or I can do me and you do you. No, if it causes pain and suffering to the people around, you cannot just do you. It doesn't work that way. We need to have respect for the life around us. And again, it does take courage to be responsible, to want to do the right thing, to understand our influence to children, and, to want to be your best. Of course, we shouldn't base our life on what people think of us, or, of course, we're going to make mistakes. Of course, that's a given. And making mistakes does not make us bad people. I think it just means that we need to make better choices. We all have that choice every single day. At the end of the day, we're all divine. We're all creatures of this earth, and that makes us sacred. We can never be an unholy entity. We're children of the great spirit, the great energy. Our body is made of energy. So we cannot ignore the fact that life is a miracle. We are a miracle. Even the scientists even say that the chances of life existing are so small that makes it a miracle. So even if you want to just step out of the spiritual realm, which I believe you can never step out of, life is spiritual. But if you want to go into the scientific mind and think about it that way, the chances of life are so minute that it really does make life a miracle. The chances of it happening, occurring, are so small that life happening is a miracle. So with that in mind, if we feel we have made a mistake, we can always correct, maybe not change it because we have what's done, it's done, but we can always change future scenarios that might be similar. We can choose to act a different way, in a loving manner, in a way. I have this thing that I like to go by, and it's like retaliate with love. So always think of ways to be loving. Of course, sometimes we can help and feel angry at some injustices. Of course, we shouldn't do violent things. At this point, things need to be handled through the court, right? Which takes work. Sometimes it takes money. A lot of the times it takes money, influence. So when you're a regular civilian, these things might be harder to achieve. Justice, which is, it's not cool. We should be able to feel like we are being taken care of in the justice system. And don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of good stories as well, a lot of good stories. And we should always focus on that as well. But as long as we stick together on an issue that really matters, you know, power lies with the people and numbers. So if we feel there's an injustice now with the internet and everything, we have all the power in our hands to do something about it, to speak up about it, to not be quiet. Because a lot of the things that are damaging to our society, those are all things that are kept in secret, kept in the dark. So maybe an embarrassment, but we all must speak up, because speaking up helps the rest of the people. It protects other people. It makes us more aware of what things are happening around us, and it helps us prepare and not be scared, which is the main important thing. Because being scared, being scared is what also makes us not speak. It also keeps us quiet when we fear. Fear keeps us quiet. So we do need to be courageous again, to step out of the fear, to speak up, so we can understand each other, and that we have similar experiences, and we can take precautions so other things don't happen to other people. And like, all those horrible things that happen to people. So we can feel safe within our communities and our countries. We also have to keep in mind that what we show to our kids now is what's going to shape their future. I like to tell my son that the mind is like a computer. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you have ever, experienced is all stored in your system, in your body. So it's better to have good memories and good experiences in your body. Of course, sometimes life can be tough, and we get taught things the hard way. Um, and the good thing is that we can continue to push and have that resilience. But it is very important to always have that in mind, that our kids are looking up to us. I like to, like I said, take it serious. Of course, not perfect, but I try to have that vision always, focus myself on that vision always, always, because ultimately that's what really makes me happy. What's really going to make me feel proud of me. And that's a feeling that I think it's what drives me. Mm. And I think maybe seeing it more often might drive all of us to want to, do the same thing, hopefully. And of course, you know, this is not to apply pressure or put pressure on anybody or anything. It's just the facts that these kids are depending on us, especially as parents. Sometimes we can, make mistakes. Um, I know myself, I've made mistakes, maybe even had people around that I shouldn't have. Um, and that are not good influence. Of course, it's not to judge people. It's just a matter of fact of what you want in your life and for your child. And for me, I don't want that for my child. I want my son to be good. I want to be good. So it becomes very important to keep that in mind. Our kids depend on us, and we need to continue to aim for to becoming our best version every single time. And happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. Um, you know, cheers to keeping the species, the race going. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for tuning in to TC the G Radio. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. What are your thoughts on this topic of conversation, motherhood? I want to know. Comment, like, share, and remember to tune in and show some love every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, connect with me on social media to get more of me and my musical content. I will leave all of my social media and contact info in the video's description. Again, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and for allowing me to share this time with you. Take care. Saludos.